What do you say?
Good evening.
Good evening. I think that there should be an adjective for episodes in TV programmes where, for want of a better word or phrase, all the chickens come home to roost. I think there should be a description for those episodes where loads of things get paid off.
Like the denouement.
Yeah, like the denouement, but I think that it's more of a modern phenomenon where, in things like Breaking Bad, for example, is the first thing that springs to mind. There was episodes where sort of, and it wasn't always necessarily the final part. Maybe it was the one or two episodes before, where things would just fall into place, and that would dictate what happens next. Because that's exactly what happens with Utopia. Obviously, you know. And I was also thinking that in terms of the greatest Doctor Who stories ever told, and no, we never discussed that. We don't ever talk about which is the greatest Doctor Who story ever told. The ones that always come to the front of my mind are episodes that you could show to anybody, I think, and they would recognise that that is a great episode of television. So City of Death, I think, stands up. Caves of Androzani stands up. Remembrance of Daleks is a bit weird because it's Dalek-y, but I think Daleks is fairly transcendent. Blink stands alone. Human Nature, again, I think you need somebody with a little bit of imagination to fully get with that, but it works. Utopia's not like that. Utopia is an episode that, honestly, me and Lib sat here throughout the whole of that knowing exactly what was coming. And still, what was that you said?
It feels like a massive in.
And massive. And still, that's a really good description, having all the feels, to use a phrase. It was just, as each thing happened and you knew how it was all going to stack up. So Jack arrives. God, it's a heck of a roller coaster. And we've been spared the story of Jack. So there's 2 seasons worth of Jack that we didn't see as part of this, that the kids haven't seen, which is what I give the kids a bit of a breakdown of what Jack's been up to since we last seen him. Because
not everything that Jack's been up to.
Well, not everything, yeah. But
allegedly.
But from the off, this is just pow, 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 pow. And it's just unbelievable.
Do you remember the first time we saw it and we hadn't preempted the "You Are Not Alone," Dr. Yana. And then when it drops, I can just remember us being like, what?
Yeah. And it's little things like that. And all the way through the story, you get moments that pay off the viewer. Now, as I say, I don't think Utopia gets described as one of the greatest Doctor Who stories ever told, but for a viewing experience, that 45 minutes was just off the flipping chain. Jack coming back, all the Rose-type talk, Tennant's Doctor thrown into a new light because of his relation with Jack, and again,
Sinister.
This is a Doctor, this is a version of the Doctor for which the programme is not afraid to be unlikable. And I phrase that really badly, but you know what I mean. Not many doctors are brave enough to be unlikable. McCoy does it, and Tennant does it. That's a good shout. And to be fair, Colin Baker did to start with.
How can you say that? Nothing unlikable about my Colin.
Is this a great story? I'm not sure it is a great story.
I still don't think I know exactly what's happening with the people with tea.
It's a great... Oh, well, yeah, exactly. It's almost as if it's all just set pieces leading to the set piece. And it's all big sci-fi tropes, isn't it? It's all just cut and paste. It's doing a job, basically. But my God, does it do the job well? It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So the whole Utopia thing, yeah, I bought into it, I buy it. Honestly, the skies are made of diamonds has been a catchphrase in our house for 20 years. The skies are made of diamonds. And
along with Martha's still shit.
Oh, leave Martha alone. No.
Sorry,
we have set Martha up for greatness here. Martha's going to be immense. But there's just something about this. We didn't know at the time, and the kids didn't know today, that this is like part... He kind of knew it was the Master, but he wasn't sure. It's part 1 of a 3-parter. We didn't know that. It hoodwinks you fantastically. And then, of course, we've got...
It's also, sorry to interrupt, but it's that arc from the Family of Blood.
Yeah, Oh yeah, not mentioned that.
linked backwards.
So it's dropped all that in there. So we've got all that. Face of Bo gets referenced again.
Yeah.
Bad Wolf gets referenced again. And this is what I'm saying. This episode pays off those people who've watched all the episodes so far. And there should be a name for this.
Sticker disc.
Yeah.
It's completed.
Panini sticker album.
I like it.
Yeah. Let us now talk about the Master, because the Master is back, people. And I said that Remembrance of the Daleks, I think, works in terms of a story that you can watch with a non-fan, because they're Daleks and Daleks transcend that. I'm not sure the Master resonates that widely with your general viewing audience. I just don't. I think it's too, as a concept for a character, is too predictable almost. You know, there's the good guy, there's obviously going to be a bad guy, and I don't think that quite chimes. And if you know Sherlock Holmes, oh, it's Moriarty or whatever, yeah, all that. So it doesn't quite. But the Genius series is Derek Jacobi, and for anybody of our generation, Derek Jacobi is a very, very recognised, respected, national treasure, proper actor, and drop him into Doctor Who, and I wouldn't say that his role was clouded in secrecy, but certainly we didn't know much. Obviously, we didn't know. Well, we didn't know he was a Master for sure. Didn't even know his name was Yana, I seem to recall. So, to then launch Jacobi at us as the Master without us even realising a trick that will be played again a couple of times, to be fair, is just absolute genius. That moment where you start hearing echoes of old stories, so you can definitely pick out McGann, you can definitely pick out Delgado, and there's an alien there as well, I'm pretty sure, somewhere, is just, and there's all that. It's just so, even now. Oh, even now. And those last moments of this episode where the Master wins, essentially, we get the regeneration. And I seem to remember at the time being a bit, oh, what's John Sim doing with this character?
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? He doesn't quite have the gravitas of Jacobi, but that kind of pays off later, I think. But it is awkward. There's a moment where you go, oh, are we really doing this? Saved by Martha Jones saying, I know that voice, which if you blink, you miss it. But as soon as that happens, you go, oh, which of course then ties into all that. Anyway, but those moments of absolute desperation with Tennant shouting and that sort of intensity. And bear in mind, Tennant's been cocky as out all throughout this episode. He has been lording it up over Jack. He has been rude, quite frankly, and not very nice. And he does come round, and they have that moment talking in the radiation bit, which is a great scene, a really good scene, and it serves so many roles. It's a brilliant conversation between two characters, but also forward in the Master story at the same time. Absolutely brilliant. But my goodness, it doesn't feel like a story. I don't know how to express this. It feels like.
It doesn't feel like filler, but it feels like the sandwich meat. There you go.
That's the best metaphor you've ever.
Not a filler, but the sandwich meat.
It's just absolute brilliant. There you go. That's not even doesn't make any sense. What can you say about Utopia? What can you say about Utopia?
See my emojis. It tells you.
See the emojis. The skies are made of diamonds. Do you know? Quick bit of admin. I'm going to do. Normally, I've lumped the two parties together. I'm going to do 2 separate videos for the next 2 episodes.
Daddy, why you do that to us?
I'll explain why next time. Anyway, flipping amazing. Absolutely amazing. Farewell.